All right, so today the majority of this is going to be a review for us. Across the top, you're looking at the inequality symbols. What does the less than symbol look like? What does the less than symbol look like that would go in that first box? Carry on. Huh? So is it open to the left or open to the right? No. It's open to the left. Then the less than or equal to, what is that one going to look like? Try.
It's like the same thing with the line.
Okay. Greater than, what is that one going to look like? Jeffrey? And greater than or equal to? Okay. Now, you are going to have to graph your inequalities on your test as well as today. So, what circle goes with less than and greater than? Is it an open circle or a closed circle? Yes, look back in your notebook. That's why you have one. There are notes. We took these notes. Is this your notebook? Is that ready? Yeah. Right in. Open circle. Okay, so then obviously the closed circle is going to go with the equal to ones. A piece of paper. Technically, that is your paper. All right, so we are going to, well, you guys are going to graph these on 1 through 6. So remember, the variables on the left side, you use your arrow to tell you which direction your, use your inequality to tell you which direction your arrow is going. So for this one, x is less than -8. -8 goes in the middle. Is it an open or closed? It's going to be an open circle. And then looking at this, I know that, that should be greater than, x is greater than -8. Sorry. Going to the left, you guys are doing 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. Stand up when you're finished. All right. Tell me where or what type of circle I'm using and which direction it's going for number 2. K is less than or equal to 5. Sorry, Callie. Okay. Yes. Okay. What about M is less than -3? Open a closed circle. In which direction is it going? Jeffrey? Okay. Which direction? All right. P is greater than or equal to 14. Open or closed. In which direction? Nevaeh? And which way? Now, for these last two, I switch them when I graph them. So this actually becomes P is less than 7. The reason I do that is because it's just easier to graph so that you don't make a mistake. What you have to remember though is you have to flip your inequality sign. So this is 7. It's going to be an open circle and it's P is less than. So I know that my arrow is going to the left. How many of you guys got it right without flipping? Okay. If you did not get it right without flipping, please make sure you get the right information on there. And then 6 becomes N is greater than or equal to -2. I'm going to have a closed circle right there, and my arrow is going to the right. All right, we are not worried about translating expressions right now. It's not going to be on your test. It's not going to be on the benchmark. So you don't need to worry about the translating part. So just kind of don't make a big deal, but just kind of cross through it. Don't worry about it. Now, the last part down here, you have to state whether or not the solution that is given to you makes the statement true. Because in any inequality, you're always trying to figure out, is the statement true? So you're going to plug in 4 for x, and I'm going to write 4 is greater than or equal to -6. Is that true? Yes or no? Last time I checked on a number line, 4 is greater than -6. So you're simply writing yes. Number 13, 11 is less than 8. Is that true? No. No. So I want you to rewrite this with a true statement. So what number would be less than 8?
7.
7. Can we use the number 8?
No.
Raise your hand and tell me why I cannot use the number 8. Am I supposed to understand anything that just came out your mouth? So say that again, because I think you're right. I just don't know what you said. Right. It doesn't say the equal to part. All right, so you can use 7 is less than 8. You can use 6 is less than 8. You can use any number below 8. All right, you're doing 14, 15, 16, and 17. Stand up when you are finished. Stand up when you're done. Guys, this is not rocket science. You're just simply plugging in the number, seeing if it's right, writing yes or no, and if it's a no, you're correcting it. That's all you're doing. Plugging it in, rewriting it, and looking into that floor. All right, so looking at number 14, you have 4/3 is less than or equal to 2. What does 4/3 become? You can either rewrite it as a mixed number or you can write it as a decimal. What do you get when you write it as either one of those? Doesn't matter which one. Nevaeh. Is that a true statement? 1 1/3 is less than or equal to 2. Okay? All right. Number 15. So it's saying 15 is less than 15. Is that a true statement? Sorry, I don't even know what the inequalities are today. That should be greater than. So that is a no. How do we make this statement true? What number makes this statement true? 16. So 16 is greater than 15. I told you I said it wrong. That's my fault. All right. Number 16. You have 1 7/10 is less than or equal to negative 1 6/10. Is this true? No. Brayden, give me a number that makes this true.
2.
No. Nope. Because that's a negative 1 6/10.
Negative 2.
So negative 2 is less than or equal to negative 1 6/10. What's another one? Negative 1 6/10. What's another one? Nevaeh. Negative 4. So any number bigger than 1.6 with a negative sign in front of it. All right, the last one. You have 3/2 is greater than or equal to negative 9/5. All right, is that a true statement? Thank you. Sorry. So is this a true statement? So when I change negative 3/2, what does that become? Audrey. Negative 1 1/2, and I'm saying is greater than or equal to what is 9/5? What do we change that into? What is it? 1 4/5. All right, so we're saying that negative 1 1/2 is greater than or equal to negative 1 4/5. Do we agree? You should agree. That should be a yes. All right, flip your paper over. So just a tad bit of review on when we are solving inequalities. When you solve inequalities, It is the exact same steps as solving equations. Do not forget that. They are the exact same. What is the only difference between them? Between an inequality and an equation? What's the only difference? The equal sign. It's either an equal sign or it's an inequality symbol. Now remember, if you multiply or divide by a what? What happens? If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must do what? Raise your hands. What do you have to do with your inequality symbol? Anthony, you were all over this last week. What do we do if we're multiplying or dividing by a negative number with our inequality? You were like the one who told me every single time. What do we have to do with that inequality? If I divide or I multiply by a negative number. You forgot? Lord. Cam, what do we do if we multiply or divide by a negative number when we're dealing with inequalities? Don't tell him, Jeffrey. I saw your lips moving. Don't play with me. What do you got to do? Yes. Thanks, Jeffrey. Great friend, Jeffrey. All right, you must flip the inequality symbol. You have to. All right, so these are one-step inequalities. And then we're going to be graphing them. So we're going to do a few together, and then you guys are going to work on some by yourself. So what is the first step that we're always looking for? So over here on the side of this, I want you to write this down. So the first step, what operations are we looking for? What operations? Mariana? No. Well, yes, but like the basic, like one step. Because with one step, you don't have distribution or combining like terms. One step inequalities is just strictly, it's not one, we don't have inequalities and variables on both sides. Not inequalities. We don't have variables and operations, constants, whatever you want to call it, on both sides. This is just simply, we're trying to get a variable on one side and our constant on the other. We don't have a bunch over here. So we're not looking for distribution and we're not looking for like terms. So what technically is the first operations that we're looking for? Eliana. Yes. So add or subtract. Then the second set of operations you're looking for, what? What's the second set, Brayden? Multiply or divide. All right, so if we're looking for adding, subtracting first, we want to get rid of this constant. What am I going to do with this plus 1? How do I get rid of it? Brayden? Sorry. Yes. We're going to subtract by 1. Then we have 3x is less than 9. We're done with our adding and subtracting. Then what do? How do we get rid of that 3x? So what operation is going on here? Anthony? What is it? Yes. Because we have multiplication going on there. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. X is less than 3. So now I'm going to graph that as well. Open circle or closed circle? Going to the left or to the right? Come on. Soraya, will you get up and shut the door, please? Please focus. All right, the next one is a divided by 5 minus 6 is less than or equal to 6. That is not a fraction. Raise your hand and tell me, how do we know that that is not a fraction? How do we know? Jeffrey, how do you know that's not a fraction? Like, how do you know a divided by 5 is not a fraction? Yes, because there is a letter above that one. I'm literally going to fight this thing today. There we go. All right, so how do I get rid of the minus 6? What do I need to do? Jeffrey? So plus 6 to both sides. So then I have a divided by 5 is less than or equal to 12. How do I get rid of the divided by 5? What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So I'm going to times 5 on both sides. 12 times 5 gives me what? Twelve times 5 is what?
60.
So a is less than or equal to 60. Open or close circle? Open or close circle? Close circle. And then which direction is it going, to the left or to the right? You all right over there, Brayden? That was a bit of a struggle there. All right, I want you guys to do 20 and 21 on your own. Stand up when you're done. Oh, that sucks because I think I just threw it away. Because it was left on my table. What do you want me to do, sweetie? You better ask one of your very nice other teachers to print you a new one. Fix your face, go back to class. I'm not gonna pay it enough for this. He was shocked. Like, why? What am I teaching?
Fight you. She gave me a dirty look, Miss Kenny.
Yeah.
She'll fight you. I can't stop her. Was that mean? Should I have given him another copy? No. Like, it's 9 weeks number 2, boo. You are done. Please stand up. All right, let's go ahead and go over these. So I'm looking for adding or subtracting, and then I'm looking for multiplication or division. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have plus 22. How do I get rid of it? Right in. So I'm going to subtract 22 from both sides. So that gives me negative 2y is less than negative 4. Now what do? I've gotten rid of my adding or subtracting. What do I do next? Soraya?
You have to divide.
Huh?
You have to divide.
by.
-2.
So I have to divide by -2, which means I'm dividing both sides by a negative. What do I have to remember to do with my inequality symbol? Flip it. So y is greater than +2. When I graph this, open circle, close circle. Open circle, which direction is going, to the right or to the left? To the right. You guys have 10 seconds to finish that one if you did not. I went to the first 7 minutes of it. It was like, why did I waste my time?
Yeah, they asked me to go in there and sat down and like, I need to go circle. I had her heat up my lunch. I wanted to ask Audrey. And she was looking at me funky. Did you see the look she gave me? Fighting words. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. What do we do first? Y'all separate if you can't sit together. What do we do first? So 7m is greater than or equal to -42. Okay, then what do we do? Cam, what are we looking for next? Okay, what are we gonna do? Well, what do you see? So what do you see right here? Like, what operation's going on there? What's the opposite of multiplication? So I'm going to divide by 7. Divided by 7. M. Now, does this flip? Why?
Yes.
Why does this flip?
Because you said
Are we dividing by a negative?
no, but this
Are we multiplying by a negative? So then it doesn't do what? It doesn't flip, because it's only when you divide or multiply. What did we do here? We divided by a what? +7. So even though this is negative, we are dividing by a positive number. Okay? So don't get confused on that.
okay.
So this is going to be m is greater than or equal to -6. When I graph, open or close circle? Close.
What?
Jesus, take the wheel. It's an equal to.
Oh, I erased it. I rewrote it as 6, not 9.
All right. You guys are doing 22, 23, 24 by yourselves. Stand up. Do not talk. If you start talking, I'm going to start handing out silent lunch, and I will come and sit with y'all because I don't have anything to do for the 25 minutes that y'all are at lunch. So I will come and sit with you and make sure you have your silent lunch. When you are done, stand up. Ashley, please go over there. I'm about to put your desk right up front where it was when you were in sixth grade, because that's how you're acting right now. Like, Jesus, take the wheel. Let's go. I got more things to do. Again, stand up when you're finished. What'd you get for 22? What'd you get for 22?
X is greater than -7.
What'd you get for 23?
And K is greater than equal to 9.
What'd you get for 24?
What's the truth? It was supposed to be 6:30.
What is 25 minus 16? Okay, negative 25. Plus 16. You might want to check it.
It's -2.
All right, let's go ahead and go over these three. If you're not done, that's fine. Please follow along. I'm hoping that everybody at least got 22 done. So we're looking for adding or subtracting. Do we have that? Yes, so we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And we have W divided by -7 is greater than 1. Then I'm looking for multiplication or division. What operation do I have going on over here? Division. So what's the opposite of division? So I'm going to multiply by -7 on both sides. Multiply by a -7. So W, is this where I flip my inequality? Yes. Why am I flipping my inequality? That's all I hear. Ariana. And 1 times -7 gives me a -7. All right, open or close circle. And to the left or to the right? Because you got to flip your inequality. Why are you... All right, so looking at number 23. Looking for adding or subtracting to start with. What am I going to add or subtract here? Jeffrey? Add 4 or... Because what, is this a positive or negative 4? So then what do we have to do? So I'm going to take 4 away from both sides. So this becomes -3k is less than or equal to -27. And then from here, what am I looking for? Audrey. Multiplication or division. So I'm going to divide by -3 on both sides. What does that tell me I have to do with my inequality? Got to flip it. So k is greater than or equal to 9. Open or close circle? Close circle. And am I going to the right or to the left? All right, number 24. We all, well not all, but it always seems like we struggle when we have a fraction, and I don't know why. So let's just start with this right here. We're always looking for adding or subtracting first. So I have -16. How do I get rid of -16? Sebastian, how do I get rid of -16? So I'm going to add 16 to both sides. Now this just becomes a subtraction problem, and my bigger number is a negative, so I know my answer is going to be a negative. What is 25 minus 16? What's 25 minus 16? It's -9. I'm going to bring everything down. All right. Then I'm looking for multiplying or dividing. I'm going to divide by 3/8, right? Why am I going to divide by 3/8? Somebody, anybody? Sebastian, will you actually turn that light on behind you, please? Okay. Why are we dividing by 3/8? Only 2 people know? I know that more than 2 people got this right. And even if you didn't get the answer right, the process was right. Brielle? Yes, because right here, this is multiplication, so you're doing division. So that means you're doing -9 divided by 3/8. When I rewrite this, I have -9 over 1 times 8 over 3. What is -9 times 8? -72 divided by 3 gives me negative what? 24. So the answer to this one, and I gotta make sure I have x is less than negative 24.
Which is
So if you got this one wrong or you were on this one, please make sure you get the work to finish this one up. Is it a open or closed circle? And which direction, left or right? See where you went wrong, Graydon?
Yes.
Okay. All right, 25. I saved so we could do together. And the reason I saved this to do this together is because this is one of those rule benders. So you have p plus 9 divided by negative 4 is less than negative 5. So usually we're looking for what first? Nevaeh. Right. However, we can't do addition or subtraction first. We actually are going to have to get rid of this division. So how do we get rid of division? How do we get rid of division? Multiply. So I'm going to multiply by negative 4 on both sides. I just multiplied by a negative number, right? So when I redo this, what do I have to do with my inequality? Flip it. So this becomes p plus 9 is greater than negative 5 times negative 4. What's negative 5 times negative 4? Nevaeh? 20. Does everybody understand why we flipped? Yes or no? Okay, who does not understand? Negative 4? Right there. The original problem.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, and then from here, we're going to do our subtraction or our addition. So I have to do minus 9 on both sides. P is greater than 11. Okay, so this one is, like I said, it changes the rules because you actually have to do opposite first. You have to divide or multiply and then add or subtract. All right, go ahead, glue these in. If you need glue, go ahead and borrow some from the container over there. Please make sure that you do not glue it down to where you cannot see your work on the front and the back. So I just put a little bit of glue right here. Glue it to where there's going to be a way for me to see front and back right here. And I totally glued it in backwards because, yeah, that's how my life is going today. Just kidding. All right. You are going to get homework that you are going to be working on independently. There are 25 questions. This is probably the most homework I am ever going to give you all year long. However, I'm taking away 6 problems. So what's 25 minus 6?
19.
Jesus, take the wheel. We'll ask again, what is 25 minus, clearly we are not do it in our head kind of people here. 25 minus 6 is what?
Oh, 19. It's 19 at first.
It's alright. If y'all want to keep being silly, you can go ahead and do all 25 of them.
What? No, I was not being silly. I'm being serious.
No, you're not. Alright, you need to, when you get your paper, 7 through 12, please just cross out. 7 through 12, you're crossing out. Sorry, Raiden, I forgot to.
7 through what?
7 through 12, go ahead and cross out. Why is your iPad open?
I was checking this one.
It don't matter.
One time is face.
The time is do math work. So, for the 84th time, get your paper, cross out 7 through 12. So you are left with 19 problems to do. If you look at the notes we just took, it's exactly the same step by step in the notes. So if you need help with this, refer back to the notes. You can do all of your work right here on your paper. If you want to move around the room, you're allowed to move around the room. If you want to stay where you're at, that's fine. If you need help, please ask. Please do not talk. It's the one thing that I ask that you don't do is please do not talk.